Monday night, Eastern Standard Time.
Donald Trump has been tested for COVID-19 with the results expected in the next 2 days. The White House says everyone who has come into contact with Mr. Trump and Vice President Mike Pence will have their temperature checked. All this comes after the pair was exposed to a Brazilian diplomat infected with the virus.
I also took the test last night, yeah. And I decided I should, based on the press conference yesterday. People were asking, did I take the test? I don't know, whatever it takes, a day or 2 days, whatever it is. They send it to a lab.
Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has confirmed a 15-day nationwide lockdown as part of the country's state of emergency to tackle the spread of coronavirus. People will only be allowed out in exceptional circumstances. All shops will be closed except for pharmacies and those selling food and other basic necessities. Spain's death toll now stands at 190. That's up from 120.
France has ordered the closure of non-essential locations, including cafes. Grocery stores, pharmacies, banks and other public services will remain open. The measures were announced after the country recorded a 25% jump in the number of COVID-19 cases.
From midnight, New Zealand will introduce some of the strongest coronavirus control measures in the world. All travellers, regardless of nationality, entering New Zealand will be forced to self-isolate for 2 weeks. Residents of Pacific Island nations, which have no confirmed cases of the virus, will be exempt from the ban.
10 more people have died after testing positive for the coronavirus in the United Kingdom, bringing the total number of deaths to 21. Nearly 38,000 people have been tested for the virus in the UK, with the total number of confirmed cases surpassing 1,000. Large gatherings could be banned in the UK from as early as next weekend.
97 people have reportedly died from the virus in Iran in the last 24 hours. The official number of dead people stands at 611, while more than 12,000 cases have been confirmed.
Indonesia's Transport Minister has tested positive to the coronavirus days after attending a cabinet meeting with the President Joko Widodo. So far, there's no suggestion anyone in the cabinet room is ill or needs to undergo testing. 5 people have died from the virus in Indonesia, with at least 96 confirmed cases.
And Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has assured the public the Tokyo Olympics will go ahead as planned in July. That's despite a number of major sporting competitions being suspended over the coronavirus concerns. 28 people have died from the virus in Japan, with more than 1,000 confirmed cases. So at this stage, they're saying that the Olympics are still going ahead as planned. But as we've seen, the sporting world has been so impacted by the coronavirus, with many games cancelled or happening in front of no crowd. We are, I should mention again, expecting to hear from NRL officials, from the NRL CEO and also the Australian Rugby League Commission Chairman, to talk about the future for NRL and what changes we can expect to that season.
Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps Jared could fill us in on that update. Actually, Jared joins us in the studio. Any indication as to what this announcement will be?
So we're not sure exactly what they'll be saying, or the raft of different things that they may say. What we do know within the last half an hour or so is that the New Zealand Warriors have decided to stay in Australia. So they'll be staying to play next weekend. Should the competition still be going next weekend, they're going to play the Raiders. They're going to be based on the Gold Coast, and it's most likely they will be playing that match up there on the Gold Coast. 2 players did decide to go home for family reasons. One's recently had a child and one's about to become a dad, so they've decided to go home and beat that deadline. So that was a personal decision. But yeah, the Warriors at the moment, we do know, are going to head over and stay here, I should say, and take on the team, the Raiders, next weekend. So that's a big decision for them. But this press conference we're about to hear from the NRL, we pretty much don't know exactly what they're going to say. We know that they're going to announce that about the Warriors, but any other changes to the competition, we know next weekend, starting from next weekend, no fans will be allowed at the games. But let's see, now we're going to hear from the press conference right now and see what the chairman has to say.
Been in before. It's certainly one of the greatest challenges for us to stay viable in the history of the game. So I just want to start from the outset to say that any decision we make today may change tomorrow. This situation is fluid and is changing by the hour. We'll continue to take the best of expert advice, including what we have done to date, and that is the government and chief medical officers information, and we've always acted on that advice. All decisions that we will make will have the safety and the health of our players as the paramount consideration. That also includes our staff and any other person involved in our great game. In this regard, we're leaving every option available to us on the table. Because it's changing so quickly, we would be silly to go one direction. So we are going to review all options, including isolating players, including suspending the season. In order to have the best expert advice, we have commissioned a biosecurity expert. We've also commissioned a pandemic expert. We need to have the best available information to us to make the best decisions. We are going to act in accordance with that advice. In the interim, we will continue round 2. At this stage, we will play round 2 and assess the situation. It gives us that time to consider the biosecurity expert advice, the pandemic advice. It gives us time to consult our players, our staff, and all the other participants in our game. I give a commitment that we will listen and be agile and move in any direction that's necessary to save our game. I can't stress enough that our game has never faced a challenge like this. The longer it takes, the more pressure on our financial viability. It could have catastrophic effects on us moving forward. Our money will only last so long, and once it's extinguished, we are in big trouble. And I'll leave you with this. An Australia without rugby league is not Australia. The government has to assist us in this crisis because it's not of our own doing. Rugby league has been a fabric of our society for hundreds of years. It's people's escape, it's people's relaxation, and we need to do everything in order to continue that great tradition of rugby league. I also take the opportunity to thank the New Zealand Warriors who have agreed to stay for this week while we assess all our options. They've been very cooperative and we appreciate the stress that it's putting on them and their families, and Todd will provide much greater detail. Todd was kind enough to go to the hotel last night and spend a considerable amount of time with the players, listen to all their concerns and come to a conclusion, but I'll leave Todd to explain that. So accordingly, I'll hand over to Todd to continue. Once Todd finishes, I will take any question that you may have and hopefully we'll be able to answer them.
Thanks, Peter. And again, I'd echo those remarks. The game's never faced anything like this, but one thing we will do, and again, I've just jumped off a call with all 16 club CEOs, what we'll do together.